We are now live. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would, at 7:42 p.m. on this 8th of November, I would like to call to order the open meeting of the West Parry Sound Recreation Culture Center Board. And thank you for joining us. I would like to provide notice to the public that there was a closed meeting prior to this open meeting, and the above resolution was duly moved and seconded. That pursuant to section 239, subsections 2 and 3 of the Municipal Act, SO 2001, section 25 as amended. The West Parry Sound Recreation and Culture Center Board moves to a meeting close to the public in order to address matters pertaining to item C, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land for municipal or local board purposes, and item F, advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. So I indicated that was moved and seconded duly and carried. For this evening, may I ask if there are any additions or changes to the agenda? Seeing none, may I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Reeve Liverance, seconded by Councillor Fellner, that the agenda for the November 7th, 2023 West Parry Sound Recreation and Culture Board is hereby approved as circulated, and friendly amendment, I believe it should read November 8th. So we're going to go with that. Thank you. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Thank you. That's carried. Item 1.4 is declaration of pecuniary interests. Are there any interests to declare this evening that are pecuniary in nature? Hearing or seeing none, we will move to item 1.5, which is the approval of the minutes. May I have a mover and a seconder for the minutes of October 11th, 2023, please? Moved by Councillor Dowero and seconded by Councillor Zulek. Did you have your hand up? That the minutes of October 11th, 2023, West Parry Sound Recreation and Culture Center Board are hereby approved as circulated. All in favor? Opposed, if any? That matter is carried. Thank you very much. So this evening, item 2.1 is the chair's report, and I am absolutely thrilled to be able to share with the members of the board and the public who are in attendance that conditional offer to purchase property, 5-acre property, just under 5 acres of property on Joseph Street in the town of Parry Sound, that we do have a conditional offer. And the main condition in order to execute that offer is to obtain the funding agency, which is the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Programs Agreement, to change the location. And we have had some preliminary discussions through the steering committee with our funding agencies. We don't anticipate this being an issue, so we're tremendously excited by this and the ability to talk publicly about this and actually kind of moving our program forward. So there are cost increases across the construction industry that will be required by the board, and we're looking at all options to reduce cost with minimal impact on programming. And what you'll notice from at this new property, that program space has in fact allowed to be increased. The facility now includes a larger gymnasium, and 2 lanes have been added to the lap pool. Negotiations for the site, including a time to conduct due diligence, prevented us from communicating earlier with the public. All those steps have now been completed, and we're, as I indicated, very excited that this milestone for the project has been completed. I'd like now to turn to our project manager, Andy Gordon, and architect Susan Lewin for a presentation on the next steps.
Good evening, and thank you everybody for joining us. I'm just going to lay out the presentation. Can everyone see it?
Yes, thank you.
Marvelous. So Good evening. My name's Andrew Gordon. I'm the principal of Gordon and Gordon Group, and I've got Susan Lewin, who's a partner at the CS&P Architects, and together we're going to share the progress that has been attained. And it's exciting news. It hopefully shows we are moving forward in a positive way, reflective of the direction we've been provided through the MSB and the steering committee. So the first slide is a schematic design that's being prepared. It's at Joseph Street. This is the view looking from Joseph Street west onto the proposed facility. It falls between the hotel and the I think it's a rest center on the west side of Joseph Street, a little bit further south than the mall drive, and right almost next door to the high school. So it's an area that's got a lot of activity, a lot of pedestrian activity, and I think it's going to be a really great location to address the needs of the West Parry Sound residents. The current cost estimate that's been approved by the MSB is 36.87 million. Based on the information that we received tonight, that 36.87 was a cost estimate, but with the news that's come out from just prior to this meeting, I am extremely confident that we will make the MSB budget of 36.34, and it will not be an issue. And for that 36.34 million, it will be inclusive of the purchase of the land at Joseph Street. It will include a 6-lane lap and therapy pool. It will include a 6,500 square foot gymnasium, 2 multi-purpose rooms, conditioning and fitness areas, together with male, female change rooms and multi-purpose change rooms, essentially family changing rooms. So it's a fully operational community facility, and I think it's something that the residents will be rightly proud of when it finally gets constructed. I've just outlined on the next slide how we're going to procure the project elements, and we're going to start that process this month. It will include civil work and structural packages. Essentially, the structural work has a long delivery period, so we have to start that early, getting the procurement going. But we want to try and make a dent and get this work started for these early works as quickly as possible. And we're hoping to get that started within the next couple of months, weather permitting. Most of those activities aren't weather dependent, but they would benefit from the warmer climate weather that we do get around Christmas time before the really cold snap kicks in the beginning of January, February. The second big package is essentially the building envelope and the mechanical and electrical packages. We're hoping to get those out on the street towards the end of December. And then the final element of the bid process or the procurement process will be in mid-January for the finishes, painting, tiling, what I would call the lower value elements that make up this facility. This strategy is to take advantage of the 2023 pricing that this cost estimate was based upon, and without exposing us unduly to the 2024 cost increases that are being forecast for next year. I'd just like to hand over to Susan at this point, who's just going to go through the next couple of slides that essentially talk about the design of the facility and how we've been able to develop this facility by listening to the direction provided to us by the MSB. And Susan, I'll let you just to take it through the next couple of steps. Just let me know when you want me to turn the slides over.
Well, I mean, if you can keep scrolling through them, but thank you, Andy, for handing it over. So Andy's explained that we've developed the design reflecting the direction provided by the steering committee and the MSB. And it was presented on October 11th, and it's a single-story facility, 43,000 square feet altogether. Next. So what's included in the facility is a 6-lane lap pool and a therapy pool with a lobby viewing area, a fitness center, which includes an indoor walking track and a fitness studio, an enclosed fitness studio, and then a strength and conditioning area. There's also multi-purpose rooms for social, community, and cultural activities. There's a double gym with a dividing curtain and again, a lobby viewing area. There's a family change room, which is gender neutral and multi-generational. Female change room and a male change room as well. So the project website did have some comments about the design to date, and a few responses are as follows. A second story to provide spectator seating for the lap pool and gym was requested. The project budget provided by the MSB does not support the investment required to provide those spectator amenities. What's being reviewed right now is adding cameras in the natatorium area that will enable people to view the lap swimming on a monitor. And of note, as directed by the MSB, this is not a major tournament and major competition venue. So the therapy pool is located close to the lobby viewing area because on a day-to-day basis, there's tremendous interest of parents and others watching preschool programs, learning programs in the Tot pool. And this is something that's very common in many other recreation centers that do not have, second floor spectator viewing area. There were a lot of comments about the sauna, very much in favor of eliminating it. So it has been eliminated, and the pool storage has been increased to support the aquatic programs. There were some comments about the size of the administrative spaces, and the YMCA was consulted and did provide direction to us, and we met with them regularly, and they are fine with what is being shown. So I think we have to assume that will meet their needs. And then the gymnasium, there were a lot of comments about what is actually provided in the gymnasium. So this is a very specific list showing an exhibition basketball court, which is a regulation high school size, 84 by 50 feet. An exhibition volleyball court, 30 by 60 feet. 3 badminton courts with pickleball serve lines because they're almost the exact same size courts. The pickleball just has one extra line of a different color. 2 practice basketball courts and 2 practice volleyball courts. So that is what it is included. And I believe that's the last slide. So thank you.
Thank you, Susan. I just want to add to that there's been a tremendous amount of consultation that has taken place to get us to where we are today, and I feel that it's a design that works with the budget, and I think it offers a fantastic opportunity for the people of West Parry Sound to really take advantage of a community venue that ticks all the boxes that were originally thought about during the feasibility study in 2019 and the application that went in for ICIP funding. I'd just like to thank everyone for listening, and if you have any questions, I'd be delighted to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Gordon. Could you remove that down from screen share, and then I could see our voting members online?
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So questions for Mr. Gordon and Ms. Lewin. Reeve Liverance.
It's not so much a question as a request. Can we please get copies of your presentation so we can share that with our council as well? I understand that these being shared in the public today, but I'd like to go ahead and formally share this with my council as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I see Mr. Gordon gave us 2 thumbs up on that. Other questions or comments from voting members? Councillor Fellner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Gordon, I think overall, we're very pleased with the design of the facility. It's still, though, the main concern, and I think I need to take a bit of exception to the phraseology on page 6, because I don't ever remember this board advising that we didn't want to run tournaments in the new facility, or we didn't want to have competitions, which was, was a very important source of revenue once the facility's built. So I would encourage, and I've talked to the chair of the building committee with some observations on perhaps how we could create some proper viewing space for both the gym and the lap pool without significant structural alterations. I think they need to be explored. I think it's really the only major concern that I've heard, since your initial presentation was made public about a month ago. So I just want to go on record saying, I think we need to explore every opportunity that is available to create some proper spectator space, not with a camera, so that our youth in this facility can host tournaments and competitions in the pool and in the gym. Thank you. That would be my comment here.
Thank you. Ms. Lewin or Mr. Gordon, I saw acknowledgement of those comments. Anything that either of you would like to add?
No, I couldn't add to that. I would love to have had a second floor facility up there, but we brought it up right at the outset. It's a dollar item. We've increased the gym size, we've increased the pool size, and we've increased the GFA area of the facility. So in doing that, cost per square foot goes up, and when one adds a second floor, you actually increase the GFA. We've looked at it in a number of ways. So the only other option we can look at would be to look at the opportunities of putting bleachers, if you like, around the lap pool. But then the issue we come up with, because we've got this GFA issue, we have to think about how I gain access into a lap pool environment. But I take the points brought on by the MSB. We will look into them. But as you can imagine, we have to get this package out. It's already late. And I don't want to be in a situation where I'm reporting back next year that we're being impacted by 4% cost increases. So yes, I hear what the committee has said, and I will look into that, and I'll look at the opportunities, and I'll present those to the steering committee when we have our next meeting, and hopefully we can feed back with some information that addresses some of the concerns raised.
Thank you very much. Any other comments? Councillor Doborow.
Thank you, Chair Sanderson. It's more of a comment just to echo what Councillor Fellner had raised. I concur that the comments about the competitions being held at the facility had been discussed and was an item that we had looked at, as well as the observation areas, viewing areas, any enhancement. I think Mr. Gordon has addressed that. If there is any room for movement on that, I think those are two important things that we should be looking to promote. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? If there are none, may I have a motion to receive the presentation from Gordon and Gordon and CS&P Architects? Moved by Councillor Dobro. Seconded by Councillor Fellner. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Thank you. That is carried. Item 2.3 is a correspondence received by the Township of McKellar with respect to a resolution to request an exit of the agreement. And so this is an item of correspondence on the agenda as it has been addressed to the board. It is important to note that a request to exit the board and agreement needs to be addressed to the partner municipalities as per section 23 of the agreement, which identifies, and I'll paraphrase that, where a municipality wishes to withdraw from the board and this agreement, all municipalities to this agreement must give their consent. So I would acknowledge that the resolution identifies that McKellar is notifying the board and is requesting that all municipalities agree to McKellar's withdrawal. I also respectfully suggest that this is therefore not an item of correspondence for the board to discuss further, but rather for the municipal partners, and we will move to the next item of business. Item number 3.1 is matters referred from our closed meeting. And we had a matter to consider from the closed meeting earlier this evening, and that is an agreement on behalf of the board that will provide indemnity so that we can access the property prior to closing. And may I have a mover and a seconder for that resolution? Moved by Reeve Liverance, seconded by, sorry, I didn't see, seconded by Councillor Fellner. That the board and clerk are authorized to execute the indemnification agreement to permit access to the property. And all in favor? Opposed, if any? And that's one opposition. Thank you. That matter is carried. So, Councillor Dober, did you have a question?
No, as I was opposing that indemnification at this time myself.
Okay, thank you.
Sure,
So to
thank you.
oppose that motion still carries. Thank you. Item 3.2 is regarding project signage, and there was a report submitted by the project manager and the steering committee. And I wondered if a member of the steering committee would like to add any additional comments.
Mr. Chairman, we're just, if there's any questions, we've recommended signage option 1, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Questions for the steering committee through Mr. Harris? Hearing none, may I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Reeve Liverance, seconded by Mayor McGarvey, that the signage be approved substantially in the form provided as per attachment 1. All in favor? Sorry, Reeve Liverance.
Given that McKellar has withdrawn, would they, along with Whitestone, still be on the signage?
Through the chair, I could respond to that. With respect to Whitestone, we have an agreement with them. They're not a partner like the other 5 municipalities, or 6 municipalities, sorry, but they are a partner. They are contributing financially. I think because the facility is still serving West Parry Sound, I think sending a signal about inclusivity is important. With respect to McKellar, that just right now they're currently a partner, and the decision is yet to be made how the other partners feel about McKellar leaving the partnership. So at this point in time, they're all contributing. And Wissahickon and Shawnigan are also important partners in this venture, and they're not contributing financially. So I think we want to be always inclusive. That's what the steering committee, why they took this position.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Any other questions or comments? Ready for the vote? All in favor? Opposed, if any? And there's just one opposition from Councillor Zulak. Okay, thank you. That motion is carried. And item 3.3 is the matter of the town fees related to the building project. And there's a report submitted by the steering committee. Wondered if either Mayor McGarvey or CEO Harris would like to make any comments.
Mr. Chairman, I might make an opening comment as to why this is here. The steering committee and the board have struggled with significant cost increases following COVID, supply chain issues. And so the board's explored all options of trying to reduce costs with little or no impact on programming. You mentioned at the beginning of the meeting that we are moving to 44 Joseph Street as the preferred site. To a large extent, that's a cheaper site to develop. So everything is about trying to save money and maintain programming to provide the best recreation space for the community. It was the question came up, would the town be willing to reduce or forego any or all of the fees? There's three major fees that the town has in place for development. One is obviously building permit fees. The town also has what we call fees and charges for water and wastewater infrastructure. And then there's DCs. Recently, the town introduced DCs to pay for growth-related infrastructure. That's new construction, and this facility is new construction. So the steering committee recommended that the board ask the town to consider waiving all or a portion of those fees.
Thank you. Mayor McGarvey?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, so the fees, the only fee that will be charged, Mr. Harris has pretty much covered it all. The only fee that will be charged, because we're having to hire a firm that specializes in this type of building, and that fee will be around $100,000. And to bring them in to make sure that everything's done the way we want it done. And so as he said, the fees and service charges will be waived, and the DCs will be waived for this, which will benefit the Municipal Services Board and help with the costs. So that's, I think, a bonus for everyone, and council was quite in favor of supporting, they are in favor of this project and certainly in favor of doing this. So
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Any other questions or comments? I sincerely appreciate the consideration and the support of the town of Parry Sound and your the staff. Yes, Councillor Dobro.
Thank you, Chair Sanderson. And I agree with you. Thank you to the town for what they're proposing. The only question that I would have, is there any way that we could get a copy of what is the proposal, just so that we can analyze this back with the council and let them know what's going on? It was kind of brought upon us tonight for this this vote, and at face value, it looks fantastic, and I thank the town for what they've done. But just to outline exactly what it is would be nice to have it in some form of a written format. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Harris, is that possible?
Certainly, we can have the clerk provide a copy of what council approved. The amounts, it's the concept of waiving the fees. The fees may change. Some are based on square footage of the building, which may change, or construction value. So it's the concept that council agreed not to charge the fees and charges or the DCs, and as the mayor said, reduce building permit fees down to 100,000. But we can provide that council extract to the board.
Thank you very much. Councillor Fellner, did you have a question?
No, I just wanted to sort of echo our thanks to the mayor, council, and staff of the town for this gesture. It's greatly appreciated, and it's nice to have such supportive partners in ventures such as this. So thank you.
Well said, thank you. All right, then may I have a mover and a seconder for the resolution? Moved by Reeve Liverance, seconded by Councillor Fellner, that the town be requested to reduce building permit fees and charges for water and wastewater, and development charges related to the project. All in favor? Opposed, if any? And that resolution is carried. Thank you very much. For item 3.4, our monthly financial report, unfortunately, we've had an unanticipated short-term absence that we're not anticipating. Anyways, our treasurer wasn't able to be with us this evening, and we will report fully at the next meeting. Item 3.5 is a fundraising team report, and I wondered if the chair of our fundraising team would like to provide a verbal update.
Very briefly, our volunteers are continuing to work on the two big special events coming up, and I hope all of you will acquire tickets. First of all, to the Winter Soundwaves concert at the Stocky Center on Sunday, December 17th. It goes from 1 till 4. It's a family-friendly event. And Councillor Fellner and many of his musical friends are putting on a fantastic program, starting with some of the elementary school choirs and bands and ending with some of our community really well-known musicians. And it truly is family friendly. It'll have a magician and Santa Claus will be there and crafts and that kind of thing. So tickets are available through the Stocky Center now. And we hope it'll be the first of many annual events. The next big one is in partnership with the Rotary, and that will be on March 30th, and it will be Hockey Day in Parry Sound when the alumni of the Maple Leafs will be playing at the Bobby Orr Center. And there are many, many events ranging from silent auctions to peewee games. Someone will be on the ice all day. There's all levels of seating, including hospitality suites, and those tickets are on sale now through the Rotary website. And the pool will be the recipient of 50% of their earnings. Just to put it in perspective, Huntsville made $50,000 2 years ago on this event. So we're looking forward to it. And we're all sitting on the edge of our chairs for all of the pieces of the ICIP approval to come together. Judy Haber, who is our fundraising consultant, has basically been on hold. And we would make one comment on the signs that you approved when we can have them all. I know they have to be approved by ICIP too. I've been through this at the airport. When they are approved, at a minimum, we need some exciting flashes on them. Coming soon, located at this location. You'll be swimming in 2027. I don't know, but we need some excitement on these signs to have a reveal. And that is really important for us to get really busy and kick off the fundraising. But I understand we need to go through the process with ICIP, but before you approve what's happening on the signs on the site, give fundraising a call and see what we need.
Message received. Thank you. Any questions for Marianne?
Nope, this is an important step, and we are most appreciative for the negotiating team, and it's a go now, and I think it'll be a whole lot easier to convince the community.
Yeah, and it's very exciting indeed. Thank you. And I believe that concludes the the open meeting agenda for this evening. And I would like now to move us into a closed session. And this concludes the open meeting of the board. I now ask for a mover and a seconder to go into a special closed meeting with only the primary appointees to the board, the steering committee, and the recording clerk in attendance. May I have a mover? Councillor Zulak? And a seconder? Seconded by Mayor McGarvey. All in favor?
Could I just make a point?
Yes.
Could I just have it noted that I'm opposed to the only the primary board members in the steering committee and this meeting and not the alternates?
Yes, I believe you could. So we're going to call for a vote, and you could vote contrary if that's
Thank you.
acceptable. Thank you. So we have a mover and a seconder. All in favor? And opposed, if any?
Sorry.
Thank you. I've got one opposition. Is that correct? Anyone else? Thank you very much. And that is carried. And thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. And we will move into closed.